How we doing today? All right, I'm hanging tough. Got to be that way. Um, we've been talking to the team about trying to get better, basically. I think that if we can get better, that we have some talent on the team, and if we can do the things that we need to do to play solid, sound football, that gives us the best chance. And so that's what we've been talking about this week. Also talking about we're playing at home, and so playing at home and winning at home and performing well at home, those are important to us, and so we're going to try to get that done this week. And that's been the biggest thing that I've been talking to them about. Correct the mistakes that we made last week and try to get better this week. And so we started on it yesterday. We'll continue today. I think the time schedule change impacted their bodies a little bit yesterday because they're used to practicing at 3:20, and now we're practicing at 11:30. And all during training camp, around that time, they were going to lunch. And so now, instead of going to lunch, they're on the practice field. So they were a little slower to start, but then after the blood got circulating, then they picked it up and did halfway decent during the course of the day. So we're going to continue that and try to get better today as we go forward. There are no real changes on the injury situation. The guys who haven't been practicing are still not practicing. From the game, there were a couple bumps and bruises, like Hartman had an ankle, and he wasn't able to do anything yesterday, so I think he's going to try to see if he can do anything today. And then we kind of play that by ear as we go along. Same thing with Corey Greenwood. He had a knee, and he's going to try today to see what he can do. And if he can, he will, and if he can't, then we'll rest it another day and see what it looks like. But that's kind of where we are. And so with that, I'll open it up.
What factors will you take into consideration as to whether or not Dwayne Bowe gets a couple of snaps, or will he not be on the field for the game against the Seahawks?
Well, we'll take a look at him today because today is his first day in pads, and see how he does. The thing about players at their positions, once they get back out there and if they can get a grasp of terminology, it comes back to them pretty quickly, and we could probably put him out there and let him run a route or whatever. It just depends. Like I said yesterday, we're not going to overload him, but we need to begin to work him in a little bit.
You mentioned Flowers, seeing some doctors too. I mean, when does that really reach critical mass with him? I mean, is there some procedure or apparently whatever rest and heat or whatever they're doing, he's not getting better, is it?
Well, not well enough to be out there, and so we need him out there. And like I said all along, he's trying to get there. We're doing everything we can, and the doctors have been looking at him to try to figure out how we can get him out there, but we haven't been able to do it yet. So we'll keep working at it, and he'll keep working, and hopefully it'll get done before too long.
Are there enough players in reserve at his position that you have the guys you're comfortable with, or will you consider bringing in guys for a tryout if you're going to be short at that position?
Well, we're always looking at that to try to find out who might be available, and if there's someone that we feel like can help us, we'll bring him in and take a look at him. But that's most of the guys who are on the street. Generally, they're not ready to help you right now. So we'll have to wait to see how things go.
This being more regular season type of week, do you go as far as having the one's game plan for a possible quarterback change, like if Russell Wilson starts for Seattle? Do you get that in depth to it, or is it just still kind of scripting your own things right now?
No, we're still trying to work on our stuff to try to get better. Now, we've talked to him about Seattle, and we've been watching the first two preseason games a little bit. But, like you say, you see a hodgepodge of players and different things there. So you can't really put your hat on everything you see in preseason. But we have been talking to him about Seattle and this game because we do want them to try to get into a regular season routine. That's why we changed up the schedule.
I was going to ask you, because we've not had you here for preseason as head coach. Your week 3 philosophy on preseason games, is this kind of the dress rehearsal, or how do you do game 3 versus game for?
Well, I tell them the same thing all the time, is to be ready to play and play until I take you out. I just don't tell them what my thoughts are as far as that goes, because what I want them to do is I want them to prepare to play. So like if I tell them I'm going to take you out after the first quarter, then in their mind, they're coming out after the first quarter, and then if I need them in the second quarter, then they're not mentally ready to go. So, hey, guys, we're going to play. You play until I take you out, and when I take you out, that's going to be it.
I was thinking even more in terms of playing even more like having your first unit do some halftime adjustments and even come back for a series or two in the third quarter. I mean, is this third game, is this not one that you really try to simulate the best with even a little game planning and halftime and things like that?
Well, a lot of teams have done that in the past, and we might very well do that this game. But we'll go into the game, and then we'll see what's going to happen with it.
How critical is this game? I mean, over the years we've heard coaches say, look, we can be bad week one. It's that third game we got to be good by. I mean, do you buy into that? How important is this?
Well, I mean, every game you play is important because you can learn something from it, you can teach from it, and game one was important. Game two is important, and so game three is important. I don't know that it's more important than the first game or anything like that. If we can get better, that means that's where the importance lies, particularly after coming off of a loss in the second game.
Couple more. Romeo, does it look like Sheffield's going to be able to play Friday night?
Well, you know what? He got out there yesterday and did halfway decent. He might have tweaked it a little bit, so we'll have to see today, how that impacts him. But if he can practice today, I think he'll be able to play on Friday.
Amon Gordon, he didn't practice.
Right, he's got a knee, and we're going to see what happens with that. I think he'll try today, and if he can go, that'll bode well for Friday. But if he can't, then we'll have to see the next day.
How much were you able to get out of Travis Daniels yesterday?
Not a tremendous amount. He tried to get in and do some, but he was very limited.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Coach.
All right,
Okay,
thanks.
the schedule